Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video I wanted to do a bit of a brain dump really, just talking about the new Five Nights at Freddy's film. So I was able to go and see it last night at the cinema for its opening in the UK, and yeah, just wanted to sort of run through a couple of my thoughts. But I will say I am going to try and keep this as spoiler free as possible. So yeah, if I do ever sort of venture into spoiler territory, I will let you know ahead of time. But yeah, obviously me and the little one are absolutely massive fans of the Five Nights at Freddy's series, and yeah, we both went to saw it, and it's quite interesting to see the different contrasts that we had about the film. So the first area that I want to look at is the special effects. And with it being Five Nights at Freddy's, the main area of focus is going to be on the four main animatronics. And I have to say, the majority of them actually looked really, really good.
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy.
So we've got Freddy, Bonnie and Chica all looked absolutely stunning in the film. You could definitely feel that they were sort of there, and from what I've seen, I think all of the characters were it was all practical effects. There was no sort of CGI with that. The only one that let me down was Foxy. I thought there was times within the film that it just looked a bit too animated, and yeah, I didn't like the Foxy animatronic in the film. But saying that, all of the actual effects within the film look really, really good. The sets as well, I will say, look really convincing. I'm not too sure whether the restaurant itself was filmed in an old restaurant. From the way it looks, I think it was. So with regards to the casting of the film, it's quite a diverse cast really, because we've got a couple of actors that are well known, and I'll be honest, there's a vast majority in there of people that I've never heard of, but obviously the two main actors that I sort of wanted to highlight, you've got, and I'll read it off my screen just so I get their names right. You've got Josh Hutcherson, sorry, who plays Mike. So he'll be well known as playing Peter in the Hunger Games. And then you've got Matthew Lillard, who was, I know him best from Scream. So I think he played Stu in Scream. So yeah, but he's been in a sort of a raft of different roles, and for some reason he tends to play the sort of crazy person really well. And then yeah, a couple of other characters. I think Pepper Rubio, fairly a very young actor. Has not been in a lot. I think she's been mostly TV. And then Elizabeth Lau. She's as well done a bit of a mixture of sort of film and TV. The only real thing that she's done that I recognise is Once Upon a Time. She was in 10 episodes of that. But yeah, I think the cast, actually really enjoyed watching them. There were some points where it just felt very, very wooden in the scenes, but I think in general they played their parts really well. And really sort of got the idea of the characters across. Then the next thing is the actual story itself. So I'll be honest, the one thing I struggled with this film was I found that it just dragged. So it's an hour and 45 minutes long. And I'd say for the first hour of the film, nothing really happens. It's very, yeah, it just seemed to sort of just go through the motions of sort of building it up, So whether it's the fact that I obviously know the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, completely understand it, and that's why, because I pretty much knew what was going on, didn't need it to be retold. But obviously for people that don't know the franchise, they need all that background. But I think a lot of the sort of exposition actually come towards the end as well. And yeah, I will say the last 45 minutes I really enjoyed, and that is where the bulk of things happen. But yeah, I think the story, it just wasn't constructed in the right way. And I know I actually turned round to the little one at the end, and I'm like, how many nights did they actually do there? And that, yeah, it just, I mean, what I was expecting is that it would follow the games, where sort of night one would be sort of fairly easy for Mike, and then each night it would get like more and more would happen. But I think it probably wasn't until like the 4th night that things started to happen. So yeah, there was that. Then the other thing as well was around the actual, so in the UK the film has been rated 15. I think that is massively over what it should be. I think at most this should be a 12A. Reasons for that is there is next to no gore. I think there's like one scene that you could vaguely class as gory, and other than that you don't see everything's off camera, out of shot. You just don't see any of it, so I thought that was really disappointing. And then right, so for this next bit I am going to say spoiler alert. So I will put a little note down the bottom if you don't want to hear this next bit, because it might be classed as a spoiler, I'm not too sure. But obviously at the end you do have William Atherton. He's there in the Springtrap suit, and basically you do see the Springtrap suit closing in on him. But unlike the games where he's basically left sort of writhing in a pool of his own blood, all you actually see is the spring locks basically just looks like it's cutting through his shirt. There's no blood, there's no gore, there's absolutely nothing. So yeah, I think from that perspective it's definitely overrated, being a 15. The other thing was the sort of fright element. So the only thing that Five Nights at Freddy's is known for is the jump scares. And there was probably about 4 or 5 different times that I was watching the film and I was like, okay, the character's going to jump out in a minute. Character's going to jump out in a minute. And it never happened. Now, speaking with the little one, there was a couple of bits where they jumped. It was only around one particular character, but I'm not going to say anything about that just in case it wasn't in any of the trailers. But for me, there was sort of, as I say, there was quite a few scenes where I thought this is where they're going to do the jump scare. This has got to be it, and they just didn't do it, and that was so disappointing. Yeah, I really felt that was a missed opportunity. And there was one scene in particular, and I know part of it's been seen in the trailers, but I don't want to go in. And it was based around Chica, and I was just literally waiting for sort of the other character to turn around and she's there, but no, they just didn't do it. So yeah, I was really disappointed with that. I thought that was a massive miss for the film. But to say that, I will say my overall impressions of the film was that it was a good film. I enjoyed it, and yeah, I really hope it's successful. I'm a bit worried about how successful it will be, because obviously so it released in the UK on the 25th, released I think it was the 26th it got released in the US, and then so it got released today in the US. But what's also happening is at 8 o'clock Eastern time, it's going onto a streaming platform as well. I think it's the HBO, not HBO Max, no, it's not that one. Peacock, I think it is. Yeah, Peacock is actually going to be, you're going to be able to stream it on Peacock in the US. So I'm a bit worried that would hurt its overall box office and potentially affect the chances of a sequel getting greenlit. I know that the writing team have actually got a trilogy of films put together. So what I'm hoping is obviously you have the first one. Next one will be more based around Sister Location, and then if we can get to a third one, that will be based around the sort of the megaplex from Security Breach. So yeah, there's a really good sort of really good sort of path for the trilogy to take. I'm a bit worried that this one just won't be as popular as it probably needs to be in order to get the sequel that I would want. Obviously, Sister Location is probably my favourite out of all the FNAF games. But yeah, I think overall there was some storyline inconsistencies. There were some characters that I wouldn't expect to be in this film, because obviously this film is based more upon the in the sort of first, second and third sort of era. But yeah, it has definitely got a good path to go. I just hope that it's appreciated for what it is. I think overall I'd probably say I'd give it about 6 out of 10 if I was giving it a rating. But yeah, definitely worth a go. If you're into the Five Nights at Freddy's films, definitely give it a go. Sorry, the Five Nights at Freddy's games, definitely give it a go. And yeah, so yeah, just a quick video. I know this isn't something that I normally do, but yeah, I just wanted to just sort of share my thoughts on the film, because yeah, it's I did enjoy it, but yeah, there was a couple of bits that I thought could have been done better. But yeah, with that said, I am going to wrap the video up here. But before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, bye!